YouTube, I'm back. This is literally my not my last day off, but I am going back to work tomorrow, so I have to get as much videos in as possible. So yeah, last week's I'm on last week's episodes. This is so bad. Like literally, yesterday, The Flash episode 5 and Legends episode 5 premiered yesterday, and Supergirl episode 5 premiered the day before. So pretty much a week off, and I still have 3 Walking Dead episodes. I did not forget The Walking Dead, you guys, and I definitely did not forget Fear the Walking Dead. I know it already had its season finale and all that shit, and I'm like not even halfway done with that. I will get that. I promise. I promise, guys. It's just I have to catch up with the DC shows on CW. Like I said, this week's episodes, at least 3 of the 4 shows for this week have already premiered. Yesterday and the day before. Arrow's like tomorrow. And I have 3 Walking Dead ones, and you know my Walking Dead ones usually take like 3 freaking videos per episode. So that's like 3 episodes, 3 videos each. Just 9 videos for just The Walking Dead. Anyway, this is my reaction rant to Supergirl Season 3, Episode 4, titled The Faithful, which premiered October 30. We actually see a flashback, which I think is pretty cool, of when... Remember the first episode when Kara saw that plane that she knew that Alex was on? Like, you know, it was about to crash and all that shit, it was burning and all that. We get a flashback of that, apparently. And apparently there was a passenger there named Thomas Koval or something like that. And, you know, grieving and shit like that on the plane crash, and yet when he saw Supergirl, he was inspired by her, right? Anyway, back in the present time, what you call it? Anyway, in the present time, Kara attends this self-help meeting with Wynn and James. And they discover that this self-help meeting is actually some sort of cult, right? And they're made up of people who Kara has saved as Supergirl. So, like, for example, you know all those people that Kara saved? Basically, all of them gathered together and made their own little cult, like a Supergirl cult, which I thought was pretty damn funny. I have never actually seen something like that before. Like, have you ever, like, real life seen something like that where someone, like, makes a group, kind of like a cult? And it's not like an evil cult, like, they're just a bunch of people who've been saved by somebody and they're, like, worshipping them like a cult usually would. Yeah, I've never seen that in real life or on TV until now. It's actually kind of interesting. And apparently they're being led by that one dude we saw in the flashback, the grieving passenger from the same plane crash thing as Alex, Thomas Koval. Vile, I don't know. And, you know, they all worship Supergirl, and apparently they're following the teachings of Krypton, because they're worshipping the Kryptonian god Rao. Which I'm like, first off, how do you know this shit? Right? Like, I get that you were saved by Supergirl, but how do you know about Krypton's god? I mean, that's not something you could actually research. Well, right now in this reality, yes you can, but in their world, I'm pretty sure they can't really, like, Google Kryptonian god. I'm just saying, how the hell do they know the Kryptonian god Rao? I mean, they get saved by Supergirl. They know obviously about Superman because he's been around before Supergirl, right? But it's like, they get saved by Supergirl. They know about Superman, but that's all the Kryptonian shit they know. It's like, how the hell do you know about their god? How did you even know they had a god, first and foremost? You can't just Google that shit. But anyway, people who pretty much want to join this Supergirl cult, they purposely cause disasters, mainly so Supergirl can save them. So basically it's like, it's kind of like when you join a fraternity or stuff like that where you, like I've never really joined a fraternity or like one of those freaking sororities and all that shit. I've never been in one. I've never even been in, like, what you call it, I haven't even been physically near one. I drove past one. But, you see a lot of that shit on TV, and it's always been stereotyped as, you know, the new people who want to join, they have to do shit to go into join the sorority or fraternity. It's kind of like that, you know? It's like you mix a cult with a frat/sorority, you know? You get the fraternity sorority part, and then you mix it with a cult, and that's what they are. Basically. And in order to join, they have to cause disaster so Supergirl will fly in and save. But anyway, Koval, crazy enough, manages to recognize Kara as Supergirl. I'm not sure if besides Cat Grant, I'm not sure if I've seen any other person outside, you know, the circle of trust here with Kara, besides obviously, you know, James and Wynn. Well, James already knew because of Superman. Kara told Wynn her secret identity. So it's like, besides them, the only person I've actually seen outside the little circle of trust there would be Cat Grant to pretty much figure out Kara was Supergirl, right? At least in my head. That's from what I remember anyway. So Koval is pretty much like the first person I've seen besides Cat Grant to actually recognize Kara as Supergirl, which I think was kind of interesting, right? And that only happens because Kara's like confronting him about the whole cult thing, and like, you're making your people cause disaster, so all that shit, you know, it's like, damn. It's interesting. I don't know, I could be wrong, so in the comment section, guys, besides Cat Grant and obviously Thomas Koval, who else actually knows Kara is Supergirl besides her little circle of trust? Like James, Wynn, her sister, Jean, just the circle of trust in general. Oh, and also, what's her face? That one ex, James Wilson's ex, Lois Lane's sister, Lucy. Was it Lucy, right? Her name's Lucy. But besides her also, because, if I remember correctly, Kara told Lucy. So, who besides Cat Grant and this guy, Thomas Koval, who besides those two actually figured out Kara was Supergirl without anybody else telling them? Because I don't remember anybody. I'm serious. But anyway, the little cult group, they attempt to blow up a stadium with thousands of people. Probably to get them all to be joining their group, I'm only guessing. Or just to see Supergirl come in and be like, oh my god! And all that stuff, right? And so, Kara tries to obviously stop them and save this stadium of thousands of people, but unfortunately, the bomb that this group is using to try to blow up the stadium, unfortunately, has kryptonite inside of it. So, what she does to pretty much try to disband the group, she finds out there's kryptonite in the bomb, so she uses the bomb, the kryptonite, and she manages to wound herself in front of the cult. And they're all like, they end up being disillusioned by the fact, you know, they think she's like all powerful, nothing can stop her and all that shit. And, you know that kind of thing, right? Like, they worship something and then they find out, oh my god, they have a weakness, and some of them get disillusioned by that. This is pretty much what's happening. Kara's like, I want to see if I could break up this group by making them see I'm not all high-powered and mighty. And so she uses the kryptonite in the bomb to pretty much wound herself. Which I thought was pretty damn smart, but then again, she's wounded. So, anyway, Alex manages to throw away the kryptonite. Good for her. And, Kara manages to burn a giant deep hole into the ground. And amazingly enough, Alex, along with Thomas Koval, the leader of this freaking cult, managed to push the bomb into a safe detonation through that hole in the ground that Kara made. I was actually kind of surprised Koval did that, decided to help out, but then again, you know, just like the rest of the cult, seeing Kara get injured by the kryptonite, I guess he got disillusioned too. I don't know. But you would think that a leader of a cult would be like harder to disillusion. I'm just saying. Because he's the leader of the cult. You would think it'd take more for him to like not be in that cult anymore. I'm just saying. Anyway, Koval's obviously in prison. He's incarcerated, but he's talking to Kara, because, like I said, he knows that Kara is Supergirl. And he's, like, trying to advise her, saying, you know, follow your Kryptonian god Rao. Follow your own path. Find your own path, and all that stuff. It's kind of interesting. It's like, in a way, Koval's trying to be like a Yoda to Kara. Because he knows who she is. It is funny. Anyway, besides that, we also get that one girl, Samantha. Remember her? She's having some personal life problems. You know, she's trying to juggle her job at L Corp. Because she took over L Corp for Lena. And also, she's trying to juggle with her daughter. Because daughter's obviously causing problems, right? And she also ends up having visions of a monstrous creature inside her house. And this monstrous creature that she's having a vision of, constantly coming, like, having visions in her house, constantly telling her that she will soon reign. And I'm pretty much sure a lot of people already knew that she had to have been that baby that they put in that little pod that escaped off of Krypton, just like Superman and Kara. So, we all pretty much predicted Samantha had to have been Reign, the same baby that escaped the dying Krypton along with Clark and Kara. But the fact that she's getting those visions, it's kind of interesting that she's getting those visions. It's like, after all this time, she took off in that pod. She was still a baby, right? That thing was obviously a baby when it took off from Krypton. And she's obviously a full-grown woman with apparently a daughter. So it's like, after all these years, and now all of a sudden she's getting these visions of a monster telling her she will reign. She hasn't had these visions before? I'm finding this very hard to believe that after all these years, because if she is that baby, from baby to adulthood with apparently a child, how did she not get those visions previously? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious. Now all of a sudden she's getting these visions? I'm just saying. Anyway, also we have a little problem with Alex because she's talking to Kara and she reveals to Kara that even though Maggie doesn't want children, she unfortunately still does. Well, not unfortunately, but like, I'm saying unfortunately mainly because Alex knows that Maggie most likely will not budge from her decision on not having children. But the problem is she does, and that's gonna clash, and I have a feeling something's gonna happen to Sandverse because of it. I'm just saying. And I did watch episode 5, so I'm not gonna spoil anything for you guys until I do my video. But anyway, yeah, interesting episode. I find it funny that now there's someone in jail that knows that Kara is Supergirl, which I think is hilarious. So, yeah. One more person to know that Kara is Supergirl, and they're not even part of the team. Interesting. But anyway, I still find it odd that Samantha's now all of a sudden getting these visions, and I'm finding it hard to believe that she's never had these visions before. I'm just saying. Maybe they're gonna get more into it later in the episode. Maybe she did have visions in the past. But, you know, maybe when she was a kid and probably, like, just water over the bridge because she was a child or something. But I'm just saying, I find it hard to believe that now all of a sudden she's getting these visions and she hasn't had them before. Just saying. But anyway, that's my reaction rant to The Faithful, Season 3, Episode 4 of Supergirl. I'll see you guys for The Flash, Season 4, Episode 4, titled Elongated Journey into the Night. And you probably know why it's called that. Bye, guys!